This is Sofi. Here are your price targets for Tuesday. We ended the day at $8.27, down 1.43%. To the north side, takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline, and in this case, resistance and a potential take profit area at 841. Above that, at 2 standard deviations, takes us to 866, another potential take profit area, as well as 878 and 892. To the south side, one level of support takes us back to this line, which was also previously the middle of the trend, and that is roughly $8.16. Below that, 804 and roughly 792. All the pink lines are my buy-in lines, and this red box here is a gap to the south side that will eventually take us down to $7.47, and watch out for this gap as well, taking us down to $7.85. But we are in an upward channel on the 5-minute time frame, so we are moving farther away from this gap and this gap if we continue to go up. And the reason I wanted to go over SoFi is because we missed the gap fill by 5 cents. It would have closed out at 857, and the high of the day was 852. Note the sell-off at resistance, resistance, and resistance, and then the buy-in at one level of support. Sell-off here, just grinding sideways. We closed out that gap, as I talked about previously in my gap and go trades over the weekend, and obviously we started to touch this line and then ran up from there, and then this line also acted as support and a bounce off of that. But I will anticipate this to close out on Tuesday, fingers crossed, and then after that 903, but we are not in that channel just yet. Maybe by Wednesday we could touch 2 standard deviations at this level on Wednesday at 903. All right, and to the south side, we do have other gaps to watch out for as well. The next ticker I want to go over is APD, Air Products and Chemicals. We ended the day at $300, 312 rather, 69, and we had a gap up, which means I will anticipate it to fill on the way down. So that is a better buy-in area than obviously up here. That will take us down to roughly 285.71. And your targets, 319.24, 327.04, 334.78, 283.05 at one level of support, 275.11, and 267.29. Note the sell-off at resistance, the bounce at support, sell-off at resistance, and now we're trying to make our way back up again. The 1-year price target is 315.29. So we are super close. So I will definitely, so 315. Let's mark this out. $315.29. So we are definitely going to touch this on Tuesday. It's better if I just double double tap on that. And then I will anticipate a little bit of a pullback possibly, or going sideways once we hit this. And then if we roll over again, this will turn into support. And on the daily, I have not looked at this ticker in a very long time. So maybe the last time I looked at it was on June 14th. We were at $275. And wait, let's clean this up a little bit. This is the gap that I'm currently tracking. And then we have another gap to the downside, taking us to 264.83. And on the daily, we are going downward. And then this gap closed out at 258.37. And I think, yeah, that's all I have been tracking in the past. All right. So congrats if you made some money off of this ticker. Check out the RSI on the daily, weekly, and monthly. You're going to get different prices and targets depending on what time frame you like to play in. But on the daily, we are basically at resistance. So I will anticipate a pullback as people take their profits and they run, they lock in and they leave, and then we roll over and then bounce again. And then the projection after that is 375 if you can tolerate and play the long game, but it'll whip you around for sure. And I'm going to go over Allstate in a moment, but let's take a look at ChargePoint. So on the daily, since we are here, I've been in and out of this ticker many times. It's a dangerous one. It will give you whiplash, let me tell you that. All the light pink I have sold out of, and all the green lines are my previous take profit lines. So I have shares still left at 138. So to the north side, one level will take us to 276. And on the daily, big picture here, to the south side, back at 36 cents, which I don't think we'll get to again. Fingers crossed. 239 is the price target. That's a 62% return from where we are. And on the 5-minute, things are looking good. We are in an upward channel. Note the sell-off, the buy-in, support, sell-off at resistance, trying to make our way up, and then a sell-off, a buy-in, sell-off, buy-in at support. You're not going to always hit this line, but sometimes it won't. It gets close enough and it starts to run. But I am in here. I could have gotten out many times. I didn't pay attention. I could have sold out here, bought back in. I mean, you can just do this over and over again, even if the channel is going down. But I have paid attention this time, and I do have my out set at $1.70 right here. I'm going to play this gap, and fingers crossed that we do make it up. But if I wanted to play conservatively, I would hop off right here at 2 standard deviations. This is greed and greed. These are your outliers, your definite sell signals. All right, here we go. 148, 151, 153, 155, 143, 142, and 139. So all day long, price will stay within -2 and 2. Anything outside is just a bonus if you're just day trading for the day. I don't anticipate getting up here and closing this out on Tuesday. It's going to take longer, I believe, to do it. But if we end up wicking up there and then falling back down, people will take their profits, and price will not just stay up there. It will whip you around up here. And I think the target is just in line right here with this trend line. Just trying to retrace our steps here. All right, now I'm going to go over Allstate. It's been a while since I did this one. This little gap closed. We've got a little tiny one here. But just for giggles, I'll do this very quickly because I want to get to a couple of other ones. Oops. And your targets, 183.22, 187.47, 189.61, and 191.78, 178.86, 176.84, and potentially 174.63. You can set a stop loss here as well if you're using these lines to help you decide when to bounce. All right, and let me just show you this on the daily. And on the daily here, the buy-in, grinding up to resistance and selling off. We are at support. So to the north side, 192.77, 175.95. The 1 year price target is 206. Yeah, we could definitely get there. Let me just mark this out. 206. Yep, just basically at 2 standard deviations. I'm not an analyst. I don't pretend to be one. But if I didn't know price projections and where the targets were, I would just use the deviations, and that just helps me figure out what I need to know, especially with ETFs. Or you can just follow Dan Ives and all the other brilliant people out there. Okay, the next one I want to go over is Tesla. This looks like a mess, so I'm just going to take this over to the 5-minute. It looks like a mess, but every line means something because I've marked it out the way I like to look at it, and that's why it's so important you trade how you like to trade, because if it doesn't make sense to somebody else, who cares? So long as it makes sense to you and it works for you. 244.34 is one level of resistance from where we are. Oh wait, yeah, so there, here, 250.96, 254.11, 257.44. And that gap closes out at 257.15. But the reason I want to talk about Tesla is that I talked about this over the weekend, about this gap closure. We gapped up, which means we fill to the downside, and we did. So that filled at roughly 241.13 is where I marked it out, and we went even lower. 240.70 was the low of the day. 249.83. That's Friday, Monday. 249 up, basically up here, and then we flushed down. So this was support, fell through that, and that's the next target. Right there, 237.60. Did I already say that? I got sidetracked. 234.32 and roughly 231.13. That closes out at 228.82. We are not there yet to touch 2 standard deviations. That would be next week if we continue to go down. But with Tesla, you never know. You will definitely get whiplash, and feel like you got beaten up trading Tesla. Okay, and then this one. All right, so that's Tesla, and I want to go over Apple. We almost touched a gap that I have previously talked about. That will take us down to 221.07, the low of the day, 221.33. Not too shabby there. I mean, I don't like it to go down because this is my largest individual holding. And when this thing tanks, my account craters. But I could lose half of this and I would still be way up. All right. So your targets. 221.69. So to the north side, resistance 223.70, 225.47, 226.36, 227.21, 220.98, 220.07, and then this gap closure down at 216.85. All right, and oh my gosh, let's go Nvidia really quickly. I will not be doing a video tomorrow, so I'm going to bang out a bunch of these for you. I will be zooming in on an HOA meeting, and I think pretty much, but everyone from that board needs to resign. And I'm going to say as much. 129.40, 131.55, 132.73, 133.74, 127.21, 126.08, 124.97, and then we have this gap that will take us down to roughly 119.19. I will mark that out right now. I said 19, so let me just, oops. Look at that gap. Oh, that's Nvidia, which, wait. What did I just do there? Now let's just say 119.20. What did I do? Oh, that was Air Products. Okay. And then we have this one also in play, but we are moving farther away from this gap and this gap. So that's good. So we closed here, closed here. I mean, I've done Nvidia a gazillion times. I'll show you this. And on the daily, we're at 127. Can you see that? I know it's hard. You have to just make this a little bit bigger so your eyes can focus and see. But we're right here on the daily. Red, white, and blue is how I have it marked out. So it's visually, it's easy for me to know if one of the lines disappeared because I have sticky fingers or TradingView is doing something wonky. All right, so 130.52, 151.76, and to the south side, we're looking at 108.80. Wait, 108, what did I say? Or C? 108.86. The 1 year price target, 149.54. Okay, and if we go this far, obviously we'll close out that gap. So let's hurry up and rip off the Band-Aid and get down there so people can load the boat. All right, and then I'm going to do Microsoft. So on the daily, check out this gap. If you mark it on the daily, it's going to look wonky on a different time frame. So I mark everything out on the 5, so I really should be doing this on the 5 for the gaps. But I will just let you know that to the north side takes us to 454.34 and 394.17. That will wipe out this gap. And this gap is done. It will close out that gap as well. But on the 5, which is where I like to tell you the price targets, 409.57. Oh wait, 54 more like it. Oops. All right. 413.61, 416.57, 418.06, 419.66, 409, and 407.39. Note the sell-off at resistance, resistance, resistance. I'm going to anticipate a bounce off of this. And there's that gap I was talking about. So that one, that closed, that closed. Look, we're just basically retracing this. So the better buy-in is obviously down here, but ooh, we could touch it if we continue to go south on by Wednesday, even tomorrow though, I would think. It'll recalculate, so TradingView will recalculate that. Now, I don't have the price label, so I will do that right now. 402.01 and 405.92. Okay, and I think, I have to do this one because I am going to MRNA. I love this ticker on the daily. I love the fact that we have some gaps to close to the upside, although we're in a downward channel. So make a note of that. Still going down, even though we could bounce, because even though we're going down, we can still hit resistance, which is higher than where we are, and then just stair step our way down. Why does this look small? Okay. Here we go. 59.28, 59.53, and 59.83. 58.13, 57.85, and 57.19. So I thought, oh, you know what? I could just put an order in down here. It looks attractive to me. And if we wick down there, if I put an order in just like this wick, if you were lucky, but look, we just went sideways and then down. So, and we're still in a downward channel. So that's why sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And then you continue to stair step down. So you have to look left and look for the gaps. Where could we retrace? Obviously, you can throw on your Fibonacci retracement levels. You can draw your trend lines, Bollinger Bands, VWAP, whatever you like to do. Let me go back to this. So check this out. So we retraced here to this level, and now we're just slightly below that, but we have this gap. That's an open wound. Well, let me just take this to the daily. So this one opened up on April 29th. Could we get there? Yes. That would take us to 41.53 because check out this forecast. 46. $46. So $46 would take us to this level. Well, if we could get to 46, why can't we just get to this level? We could. But right now the analysts say 46 on the low side. Check out tip ranks. I will mark this right now so I don't forget. But because I see this gap, I'm thinking, oh, could we go from here to 46 and then even lower and then bounce off of that? That is one potential play. And then that would, on the daily, take us right here to 38.40. And definitely, I think we will bounce off of that. Is there a gap here too? Yeah, that one got closed. That is this is the last gap on the daily that I know of, that I see. I don't have my glasses on, or I haven't really, made this larger just to look at every single gap. You could do that on the weekly and the monthly as well. And if you see one, please let me know. I love to track them. But I have tracked this a long time ago, and at the high, 153. Look at that. Look at this. What goes up must go down. What goes down doesn't necessarily go back up again, but sometimes you got to get down to get back up again. And that's what I'm thinking. And we are at $58, but the 1 year price target is $100. You don't ever bet against big pharma, okay? The cure of any cancer isn't the cure, it's the treatment. Why haven't they found a cure for breast cancer? How many hundreds of millions of dollars have we given to breast cancer research and we still don't have a cure? Because the money is in the treatment. And that's why I don't bet against pharma, big pharma. There's always going to be a rotation. Just like Pfizer. I bought in low for my mom, and now it's starting to run. And I will cover pharmaceutical stocks all day long, but will I get the COVID shot? No, thank you. I don't want to grow a third eye. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get headaches. I don't want to have heart palpitations. You can't pay me to take a COVID shot. Never did it, never will. And now I'm done with my diatribe. Okay, so that's the 5 minute, but I'm hoping one day we retrace up to, oops, so you have to pull this a little bit past where you are on the day because it gets wonky. All right. And that does it for me. Have a great trading day.